Hi, welcome to the Oldish TV. If you're aging or you have parents who are aging, this is the place to be because we talk about everything having to do with aging. My name is Karen Brown. I'm the publisher and editor of the Oldish, and it is always my pleasure to welcome you here every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Now, today we're going to talk about a subject that actually crosses both boundaries, whether it is you who are aging or whether you're looking after parents who are aging. This is something for all of us to think about. We're going to talk about social media legacy accounts. Now, the other day we posted an article on our website, which is theoldish.com, and I shared that article to our Facebook page. It had to do with dead may outnumber living Facebook users. That was the headline. As of today, that article is approaching 2 million people having read it, so it's clearly of interest to a lot of you out there. I always shudder a bit. I don't know if you do, but I do. I shudder a bit when posts pop up in my Facebook feed from people who I know have passed away. Now, sometimes it's because it's their birthday or it's the anniversary of their death, and their friends are commenting, they're remembering, they're memorializing, but this can go on for years and years and years. Far be it from me to tell anybody how they should mourn. But what's really interesting to me about this whole process goes back to my education. My undergraduate degree is a Bachelor of Science in Anthropology, and I particularly enjoyed cultural and social anthropology. The data mining that is possible because of social media accounts that are not retired or memorialized or outright deleted provides an absolute treasure trove of information for people to look at, not only now, but in the future. Now, can you imagine? You can look at whether males or females had which kind of accounts, what they commented on, what they shared, how much political commentary there might have been, pictures of all of us in days gone by. It's endless. It's absolutely endless. Now, the anthropologist in me wants all of that information to stay there. Me personally, I'm not so sure that I want my information being available for the next several decades or hundreds of years. We don't know how long Facebook is going to be a thing. So, that's just Facebook. They said in this article that at least 1.4 billion, that's billion with a B, 1.4 billion Facebook users will die before the year 2100. It's not so far away. I'll be long gone by then, but still, 2100. The deceased could outnumber the living members of Facebook by the year 2070. Okay, so 2070 is going to come first. I'm still going to be long gone, I'm pretty sure. But still, do you want your information out there for everyone to see and take advantage of? Do you want your accounts to be accessible to all of your friends? Or maybe people who just figure out how to hack your accounts? I'm not sure. The article on our website does tell you how and does give you a link to how to designate a legacy contact. So this legacy contact would be in charge of managing your account after you pass away. They can ask Facebook to memorialize it. So I believe they put a little heading up that says in memory of, and then your name. This legacy contact can also have the account deactivated if that is their wish. Presumably they are following your wishes as well. But Facebook is only one social media platform, so I thought that I would take a look today at several of the other social media platforms and see what their rules were around people who pass away. Instagram is owned by Facebook. Their process is a little bit different. There doesn't seem to be any opportunity to appoint a legacy contact. Instagram requires proof of death, such as a link to an obituary or a news article, and then they will memorialize the Instagram account. Verified family members can request the removal of the account altogether. To be verified, Instagram will ask for the deceased person's birth certificate, their death certificate, and proof that you are the legal representative of the deceased person or their estate. There is also a form to be filled out on Instagram's website. WhatsApp is also owned by Facebook. Now that's a social platform that is very, very popular in Europe. When I travel to Europe, that's just about all I use, but it is gaining popularity here in North America. So while I couldn't find specifics about designating a legacy contact for WhatsApp, I'm going to assume that because they are owned by Facebook, the process would be similar. Twitter also needs for you to prove that you are authorized to act on behalf of the estate or to be a verified immediate family member. You can put in a request to Twitter and they will email you instructions. They need details like a copy of your ID and a copy of the death certificate. Interestingly, Twitter was the only platform that I found that had a process for incapacitated users. So let's say you're in a permanent coma, or you've had a stroke, you have no interest because of your illnesses in carrying on with your social accounts, or maybe you're not even capable of making that decision. Somebody can make that decision for you. They will have to, again, prove that they are authorized to act on your behalf, and they'll need to provide various things, one of them being a copy of the power of attorney that designates you to act on their behalf. YouTube similarly has a form to fill out to shut down an account. I didn't find anything about memorializing a YouTube account, it's just shut down entirely. Now, YouTube is owned by Google, so that form that is to be filled out also works to shut down your Google accounts. Gmail, which is part of Google, has a slightly different little tweak in that Google allows us to designate an inactive account manager. I get those notifications every once in a while. If I haven't logged into my Gmail, I get a reminder. I believe it's every 3 or 4 months. I get a reminder to either log into the Gmail account or else it will be contacting my my authorized person, the inactive account manager that I've designated. Right. LinkedIn will also have the deceased's authorized person gather up a bunch of information. They want a little bit more professional information though. They want the name of the deceased, the URL to their LinkedIn profile, their email address, the name of the last company they worked for, and a link to their obituary, among other things. They also have a form to be filled out. Pinterest doesn't give a lot of details. They just say, get in touch with us, and then you can take care of it from there. For those who use Snapchat, they don't have a process in place at all that I could find. Now, I do have a Snapchat account, but I don't tend to populate it. I tend to creep other people's accounts. My children have Snapchat accounts and some of the younger people I know, so I look at what they post because it's usually quite different from what they post on Facebook or Instagram. But I don't post it so much. Apple, for those of you who have Apple IDs because you have an iCloud account, because you use iTunes, because you have Mac computers, all they say is that your ID is not transferable to your next of kin. So unless you have the passwords, you're kind of sunk where that's concerned. Every social platform, though, does say that they will not, under any circumstances, give your user ID and password, so all of your login information, to anyone. So you pretty much need to know the username and password in order to be able to get into somebody else's account and deal with it. But that brings up an interesting point. You know, we put in our wills who we're going to leave our money to, who we're going to leave our property to, in some cases, who gets to look after our pets. Our social media platforms are something that we also need to wrap our heads around. There is an awful lot of information about us out there on these various platforms. We keep music on iTunes, we have pictures and passwords and comments and notes and all kinds of other things on our smartphones. We have all kinds of data on Google and YouTube, and yet we haven't yet wrapped our heads around how to deal with that when we pass away. Incidentally, with regard to your smartphones and all the data that's on there, I would say to you, make sure that your designated person who looks after all of your social platforms keeps paying the account bill on your smartphone account, because if they shut the phone down, that information is lost to you. So they need to keep paying the bill until they get all that information off. It seems very simple to just say, hey, why don't you leave a list somewhere of all of your username and passwords? And that would be the simplest thing to do. I think that most of us, the vast majority of us, haven't even done that. We probably all use the same password. I don't. I'm not going to lump me in with this because I have a lot of business accounts, and they all have these bizarre passwords that hopefully nobody will guess. But a lot of people do tend to use the same username and the same password on multiple social platforms. I counted mine up. This is a little scary. Between my business and personal interests, I have 36 different social media accounts. And I also use Google. I have several Google accounts and other iCloud or other cloud storage platforms. So it makes me shudder a little, but I do know that my team has access to all of those username and passwords. I'm just very lucky to have a team. So to be on the safe side, I'm going to double check my personal accounts and make sure that I've got all of that information captured in the password section for my team so that they can deal with that as well. So there you go, everybody. That's a to-do list for you. Go through your social media accounts and write down your usernames and passwords, and make sure that legacy people are designated where possible, and that your next of kin clearly know what you want done with your social accounts when you pass away. Don't leave it until you're in your 60s or 70s to do that. The sad reality is that we could all step off a sidewalk tomorrow. So it doesn't matter how old you are. Just do it. Okay, that is our show for today. So thank you to all of you for joining us. If you don't yet connect with us on whatever social platform is your favorite, go to that platform and type in The Oldish. I'm sure we're there, and we will see you there. I hope that we will see all of you next Wednesday here at 12 noon for another edition of The Oldish TV. Until then, look after one another, and please do remember that it takes a village to age a senior.